Hello and welcome to a new ship tour of the cruise vibes, and today we're going to take a look at the MSC Poesia, a cruise ship of MSC Cruises, and this ship is in service since 2008. She has a tonnage of 92,627 GT, is 293.8 meters long, 32.2 meters wide, and can take up to 3,223 guests, and she has a crew of about 1,039. It is a Musica class cruise ship with 3 sister ships, and this is the second oldest and second smallest cruise ship class of MSC Cruises. And how the ship is looking inside is what we're gonna see today, as I'm taking you on a full tour across the whole ship and all public areas that I have access to. And we are starting on deck number 5, the Peta Deck, and we are starting right at the heart of the ship, which is the Atrium, which we can see here. The Atrium comes with the reception and the guest service and stretches over 3 decks. This artwork in the middle with the green light can change the color and is always looking a bit strange on the camera. It is looking a bit different in real life, but the camera can't capture it properly. Here we have the Le Rendezvous bar, which is the first bar on board. This bar is on both sides, port side and starboard side. Each side has the own bar and lounge area, but it is counted as one bar. Behind that is the Le Fontane Ristorante, which is one of the 2 main dining rooms. As you probably know, with MSC you have different main dining rooms and you will get assigned to one of them, and within these dining rooms you also have 2 seatings. I always recommend taking the second seating, as you will have more time to enjoy dinner, as on the first seating the crew always needs to make sure that you get out in time to be ready for the second group. But for the second seating they have a bit more time, so it's just feeling a bit more relaxed. So if you do not like to eat very early, I would recommend taking the second seating. We already left the Fontane restaurant again, and now we're back at the Le Rendezvous bar, this time looking at the port side version of this bar. And as you can see, it looks exactly the same. So as I said, it's more or less the same bar, it's just divided in port side and starboard side, and it's already showing the typical design of MSC Cruises. It differs a little bit from the newer ships. On the newer ships they're using more mirrors, a bit less color, so this ship is a bit more colorful than the newer ships. But you can clearly see that this is an MSC cruise ship. And we are now going to deck number 6, which is the Dante deck. And as you can see, there are no Swarovski stairs because they have not been introduced yet when the ship was built. So this ship does not have the Swarovski stairs, because usually, you know that from the newer MSC ships they have these famous Swarovski stairs in the Atrium, but here they do not have that yet. And we are continuing now on deck 6, the Dante deck, and here we have the Place Vendôme, it's a boutique where you can buy mostly clothing, and right next to it is the Giada bar, which is one of the smaller bars on board with just limited seating. MSC Poesia has a lot of bars, some are bigger, some are smaller, and of course we will all see them all in this video. Here at the yacht we have the Il Palladio Ristorante, which is the second main restaurant on board. As you can see, it looks completely different, but still typically for MSC Cruises. And now we're leaving. Again, here we can see the Giada bar again, and now we're going to the other side. At the starboard side of the ship we have the Bar Smeraldo, another smaller bar, also looking quite similar to the Giada bar on the other side. Officially 2 different bars, but they are looking exactly the same. And then in front of that we have the Lo Smeraldo jewelry store, where you can obviously buy some expensive jewelry. And in front of that we have the MSC travel agency, where you can book your future cruise or your excursions. And then we keep going to the front. Here on the right side we have the mini mall, which is another shopping area. As you know, MSC is offering quite a big selection of shops, and in front of that is the Bar dei Poeti, which is a medium-sized bar. And we continue to go to the front. Here we have L'Angelo del Poeti, which is another shop, and then we're getting to a much bigger bar, one of the two biggest bars on board, and that is the Zebra Bar. And the Zebra Bar looks exactly how you would think it looks like when you hear the name, because the main topic of this bar are zebras. So we have a white and black striped coloring of the lounge. Here you can see it, and as you can see, it's a quite big lounge. As I said, one of the main lounges on board with a quite interesting design. This is quite typical for MSC. MSC is one of those cruise companies with colorful ships with a special design. If you compare them to one of their main competitors, to Costa, they are still less colorful, less extravagant, less extreme in the design, but still they always have a unique, colorful, interesting design, which separates them from other cruise companies that are using a rather standard design. Here at MSC you will always find some interesting details. And now we're getting to the very front part of the ship, and here we have the Teatro Carlo Felice, which is the theater on board. And this is one of the most beautiful theaters I've ever seen on a cruise ship. For sure in the top 10 of the most beautiful theaters I've seen, because it has a very, very nice atmosphere, a lot of light. So in my personal opinion, I think it's really looking very, very nicely. And it is quite big. It has a capacity of around 1,200 passengers. And that is enough that you will have to have a show only twice per day. On some of the newer ships, the theater is much smaller. They have the shows 3 times a day and you still need a reservation. Here on this ship you do not need a reservation, and the show is only shown twice according to the dining times. We're now getting back to the back of the ship, and here on the right side we have the poker room, which is a small part, belongs to the casino, but the actual casino is one deck above. We will see that later on. And here we are back in the Zebra Lounge. We are now continuing to go back to the aft of the ship. Here we have to go the same way that we've already seen earlier on, and now we're back at the Bar dei Poeti. And now I wanted to go to the other side of this bar, but it was already closed because this was the area where they later on gave out the tender tickets. On the other side here we have the MSC logo shop and an accessoire shop, and Le Parfum, where you can buy obviously perfumes. And we're back at the Atrium, and that means that we have seen another deck, and we can go up to deck number 7, the Manzoni deck, another deck where you will only find public areas, and the highest deck of the Atrium. Here in the Atrium area on the port side you will find a cyber cafe. Obviously it is a slightly older ship. Back when it was built, a cyber cafe or internet cafe was quite important. Nowadays it's not that much needed anymore, but it's still here. There's also another place where you can book your excursions and maybe also future cruises. And here we can see the internet cafe, cyber cafe, and we can continue on heading to the back of the ship. And the next public area that I'm going to show you is Il Grappolo d'Oro, which is a wine bar with a completely different design. Looks completely different than any other of the bars. Bit more relaxed and calm design, looking more like a nice hotel bar. Not very typical for MSC, but also very nice. And as the name implies, it is a bar where you mainly drink wine. Here on the other side we have the photo arcade. Here we have another look into the Il Grappolo d'Oro wine bar, and here we have the photo arcade and the photo shop where you can buy the pictures that the photographers will take of you during the cruise. And at the aft we have the second main lounge, which is the Pigalle lounge, the second big and very important lounge with a completely different but still typically MSC design. And this is the second very big lounge on board with a stage and a dance floor, so it can also be used for different purposes. It's also offering different types of seating with big tables, small tables. So this is what I like about these bars. You will find suitable place if you want to play cards, if you want to work on a laptop, or if you just want to enjoy a drink. Whatever you want to do, this is a perfect place to go. And another nice feature about this bar is that it has some windows to the stern wave of the ship, so this is also quite nice to have windows at the aft of the ship and you can watch the stern wave there. So that's it for the Pigalle Lounge, so we can go back to the front of the ship. So we have two more things on this deck to see, and to do that we are now passing through Il Grappolo d'Oro again, this time on the other side that we haven't seen yet. And now we're back at the bar area. We can go again to the starboard side of the ship, and here from the starboard side we are now going to the promenade, because the Manzoni deck is also the promenade deck. And here we can see the promenade. As you can see, it's a quite typical promenade as you would expect from a cruise ship. Looks like on most other cruise ships as well. Part was already closed for tender operations as we were in a tender port today, and they already started to prepare everything to lower the tender boats. We are back in the main atrium now, and here we have one more public area, which is the Hitchcock Lounge cigar room, and this is a room where you may smoke cigars. But be careful, no cigarettes, only cigars are allowed in those cigar rooms, so you cannot go there to smoke a cigarette. But if you want to smoke a cigar, this is the place to go. And now we are going to the front of the ship. Here on the left side we have the Kaito Sushi Bar, which is a sushi restaurant, which is quite big compared to other MSC ships. You have a lot of space here, and it is a proper restaurant. On some ships the sushi restaurant is always just a small open area. Here it is a proper restaurant. Right opposite we have the library, which we can also take a look at. It's a typical library with a nice selection of books. You can also take a seat here, or you can of course also take the book with you as long as you return it before leaving the ship. And we are now going further to the front of the ship through the Via del Arti, and then we are reaching the Casino Royale, which is typically for an international ship a quite spacious area taking up a lot of space. As you know, casinos are quite important on cruise ships, especially on international cruise ships. I am from Germany, and on German ships there are little to no casinos on board. Most of them are very, very small or do not exist at all, because Germans tend to not go to the casino, but internationally this is one of the most important areas of the ship. Of course also for the cruise company to make a lot of money, so this is why the casinos are always very big, because a lot of guests love to go to the casino. And here on the MSC Poesia you have a perfect place to go, in the very nice and beautiful casino. And in front is the Teatro Carlo Felice again, and this time we are on the upper area of the theater, where you have additional seating, also with fantastic views. Almost no seats do have an obstructed view, so that is done quite nicely. And as I said, I really love this theater. It's really, really beautiful. And now we're heading back to the middle of the ship, passing through the Casino Royale again and through the Via del Arti again. Here on the left side we have the card room, where you can play card games and other games. There was already someone inside, so I didn't go into it, but it looks more or less the same like the library. And here we have the sushi restaurant again, and here we are in one of the 4 main staircases, and now we're getting up to deck number 8, which is the Tasso deck. But this is a deck with only public areas, so there is no need to walk around this deck. There is actually nothing to see, so we can go straight up one more deck, deck number 9, Ungaretti, And here there are a few things that I want to show you, as on this ship there are quite a few hidden areas that are quite nice to know that they are there and to visit them. And for that we are now heading to the back of the ship on deck number 9. You could also do that on deck 8 or 10. This is available on every deck with mainly cabins, which is the small outdoor area. Maybe you remember my video about the MSC Poesia, and there was also an outdoor area here on the aft of the ship on every deck, and the same is here available on the MSC Poesia. So if you have an inside cabin here at the aft of the ship, this might be the closest outdoor area to your cabin, and as many people do not know about this, you will never have anyone else there, so this is like a private balcony. If you want to take some pictures, this is the perfect place to go. So we skipped deck number 9, Ungaretti. We are now on deck 10, Carducci. And on this deck we are now going all the way to the front of the ship, because on this ship class we also have a hidden area at the front of the ship. So here we are passing to one of the main staircases, but we are going all the almost 300 meters to the front of the ship, and there is another outer area. On all newer ship classes, for example like the Fantasia class, there are cabins in the front of the ship, nice balconies or nice picture windows, but there's no public area that everybody can access. Usually you only have the yacht club area, which has a nice view over the bow, but here on this ship class, on the Musica class, you do have a public area in the front, and that is hidden behind this door. This door looks like it's a cabin door or it's going to a crew area, but as you can see there's no cabin number on it, there's also no sign crew only, and that means you can go through that door. And then you will have another door. As you can see there are also signs for the guests, so this is an official public area, and there you have this nice balcony. It's a huge front outdoor area with a perfect view over the bow, one of the nicest outdoor areas of the ship, and almost nobody knows about it. And as this door is not attracting any kind of attention, not many people know about this place, so also here you will be probably mostly on your own. And this is especially nice if the ship is, for example, going into a fjord or into a nice port. So this is a very, very nice place to go. It might happen that this area is closed due to strong winds, but it's always worth checking out if this area is open. And especially if you have an inside cabin here at the front of the ship, this might be your private balcony, so go check it out. That's it for deck 10. We have also seen everything here, so we can go up to the deck 11, the D'Annunzio deck, which is yet another deck with only cabins, so we can skip this deck as well and go to deck number 12, the Leopardi deck. And here we also only have cabins, but we have one additional thing, and this is another outdoor area at the aft of the ship. Here on deck 12 you do not have an outdoor area at the front because there's the bridge, but we will have an outdoor area at the aft of the ship. So we're now heading to the aft. On all the other decks there are balcony cabins, but here, as you can see, the door facing straight from the cabin hallway, and as you can see we have another outdoor area over the full width of the ship. So this is also a nice area. It's covered, so if the weather is bad, you still want to go outside, this might be a nice place to go. And we have some sunbeds here available. Of course now they are stored. As you know, I will always do my ship tours very early in the morning, around 5 or 6 o'clock, when everybody's still asleep, because otherwise I would have to blur a lot of faces due to the personal data protection laws in Europe. But in this case there's almost nobody around because I'm going to bed early in the morning. So that's it for deck number 12. And we are now on deck 13, the Foscolo deck. And this is now another deck with only public areas. And at the aft we have the Villa Pompeiana buffet restaurant, typical MSC buffet restaurant with windows to the aft of the ship with another nice view over the stern wave. And a lot of areas where you can get your food. We have of course a lot of tables available in a typical design. That is the case on most MSC ships in a buffet restaurant. So you have a very thin but very long seating area, and then on the side you have the stations where you can get your food. Also here on the right side you usually have a station where you can get your food, which was now still closed. Here on the right side we can see an open station. So yeah, Villa Pompeiana buffet restaurant, really big, nice restaurant. You have beverage stations here on the right side that are open 24/7, where you can get coffee or hot water for tea, and this is also already included in the cruise fare. So yeah, that's about it for the buffet restaurant, and we are now heading to the front of the ship again, and that means we're now coming to the outdoor area, the pool area. We have two main pools, the Cayo Levantado pool area and the Coral Bay pool area. Of course, we're gonna see both of them in this video. We're starting with the Cayo Levantado pool area, very nicely designed, looking beautiful, and it's also quite a big pool. Additionally, we have also some whirlpools. And then we're heading further to the front of the ship, and right in the middle of the pool deck we have the Mojito bar. Usually the bar is at the aft end and the front end of the pool deck, but here we have one in the front and one in the middle, and the one in the middle is the Mojito bar, also with some seating areas. And behind the Mojito bar is a big stage with the dance floor. You can put the sunbeds here during the day, but if there's an event you can also remove them, like right now, and you have a big dance floor which you can use for all kind of events. And in front of that is the Coral Bay pool, also coming with some hot tubs. And in front of that again is another bar, which is the Piranha bar. Here we can see the stage for a second, and now we're heading to the Piranha bar. You can take a look at the pool on our way there. Here you can see it. And behind that are the hot tubs, and behind that is the Piranha bar. And further in the front of the ship is the MSC Aurea spa area, which we will see next. Here is the Piranha bar, the second bar on the pool deck, and that's about it for the pool deck for now. Here we can see one of the smaller pools, and now we're heading inside again to the Aurea spa area. Of course, I cannot show you too much of the spa area, as always these areas are not accessible. You can only get there if you pay extra or if you have an appointment, and in this case there are many people, most of them not wearing too much clothes, so obviously you cannot film in there. So here in this case I can only show you a few parts, at least the entrance to the gym. Also the gym is always in use even this early in the morning, so I cannot go inside. But here in front with the nice view over the bow of the ship is the gym, and there is also a small bar and lounge area. And we are now on the next deck, deck 14, Pascoli deck. In the front we have cabins, so we are going back outside. Here we have the power walking track and a nice view over the pool deck, but no other public areas. A few public areas at the aft of the ship that we will see later on, but for now we're heading up one more deck. We're now going to deck 15. Here on deck 15 we have the most expensive cabins, the big suites, but also another small outdoor area, and we can even go up for a second to deck 16. There's the top 16 exclusive solarium, which is usually not available for all guests. This case it was not blocked off, but still I will not walk around there too much. Instead we are now going back to deck number 14. Before that we take another look at the nice pool deck, which looks fantastic here from deck 15. We have a nice panoramic view. As you can see, very nice early foggy morning. And now we are back on deck 14 on the power walking track, and we are now walking all the way to the aft of the ship to take a look at those public areas there. Here on deck 14 we have the children outer pool and games area. Now with a obstructed view due to the fog in the morning. Here you can see it is a children's playground with a small water slide. There's also a children indoor play area. And the rest of deck 14, as I said, we will see later on. Now let's head up to deck 15, because here we have the mini golf area on the port side of the ship, and on the starboard side we have the typical game of cruise ships, which is of course shuffleboard. So here we have the shuffleboard game and a nice view of the sunrise. And we can go up to deck 16 from this side also one more time, because there we have the sports center, which is a sport court where you can play football, basketball, tennis, whatever you want. It's covered with the net, so you're not losing a ball when you miss a shot. And that's about it for deck 16, so we're going back down to deck 14. And now we're going to take a look at the last indoor areas that we haven't seen yet, which is, for one, the virtual games area, where you can play some arcade games. All type of arcade games are available here in this room. And yeah, this is also available for younger guests. And the younger guests, as I said, we have the area for the children, but we also have an area for the teens and for the younger kids. So we have area for small kids, for young kids, and then we have an area for the teens, which you can see here. So if you're traveling with children, you can also leave them here. If you want to go to a spa area, which is usually boring for kids, or you have an excursion plan that is not interesting for kids, you can also leave them here during the opening times of the kids club or teens club. And here we have the last public area that we're going to take a look at, which is the S32 Disco. It's not a typical disco, it's more like a nightclub. As you can see, it's quite spacious, so you can use it also for different occasions. There's a lot of seating available, so it's not your typical disco. It's more like a nightclub, and also looking very nice with nice views. So this is the place to go if you want to stay up long. And now we've seen all public areas of the beautiful MSC Poesia. In the next video I will show you a bit more about the life on board, and also I will show you the cabin. But that's it for now. I hope it was interesting for you. Here you can see when the next video will be uploaded. As always, I'd like to say thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please consider to comment, like, subscribe or share the video link, and I hope to see you in my next video.